Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm super excited to bring you another video because I'm gonna talk to you guys about something that is kind of near and dear to my heart and really has become a part of my life over 20 years in the military, but is even more important when we're talking about people on the autism spectrum. And what we're going to talk about is building routine. Routine can provide stability and predictability. And for those on the autism spectrum, that is extremely important. But we got to get ready to get out of here because I got to get Elijah to his appointment. And then once I get in there, we'll dig right back into it. Let's go. I'm right back with you in a different location. Oh, it's raining a little bit. All right, so the first thing is creating a daily consistent schedule. That is one of the things that helps your child so much when it comes to what's coming up, what's the next thing, what's happening, right? So one of the things that I do is that we always take our time with everything that we do. I have to get up a little bit early. Sometimes I have to prep a little bit early, but I do these things just to make sure that everything is nice and consistent and easy for Elijah when we get up. So in the morning, I get up, or sometimes I do it the night before, but I'll get up early. I'll get his clothes all laid out. I'll get his, socks, shoes, everything prepared, a little snack, whatever the case may be, before I even wake him up. That way, when I wake him up, I can take my time. Hey, baby, time to get up, time to get ready to get moving, take my time, get him dressed. And even when I get him dressed, I do the exact same thing. We put on his underwear, we put on his, his shorts or his pants, his shirt, socks, so on and so forth. But we take our time and we go through those motions nice and easy. Over to his mother, we give, we'll give her a little kiss, tell her bye. She tells him the same thing. All right, baby, I love you. Have a good day. Play with your friends. He's used to hearing and seeing these same things over and over. After we get done, saying bye to mom, we take our time. We get in the car. I put him in his seat, so on and so forth. You guys get the idea. We do the same thing. And again, by doing the same thing over and over, he knows what's coming up. He knows what the next thing is. So there's really not much anxiety about it. It's a nice, smooth transition now. It takes time to get there. But by you taking the time and creating that consistency, it helps your child deal with the anxiety, right? To get comfortable with what's coming up. So when you're going through activity to activity, it becomes so much smoother and easy for them to deal with. Okay, so next up, we're going to be talking about creating a structured environment. So it goes in two parts because Elijah goes to daycare, which has been a huge benefit, but I'll talk about that a little bit later on. But there is definitely structure there. But I'm going to talk about when we're at home. So at home, we keep everything nice and structured. Now that comes from not only, because we're dealing with Elijah on the autism spectrum, but it's really just a part of our natural life. My wife has came from a lot of structure. I have definitely came from a lot of structure, mainly from, my mother, military life, right? And even now. So having things nice and clean, nice and organized, right? Knowing where everything is, knowing that everything has a certain place. And of course, everything's not perfect, right? We all have our days where to our own certain level, things are not in place, right? Things are dirty, whatever the case may be. But for the most part, when we have things in the same place, activities happen at a certain time, at a certain location, when it's time to eat, when it's time to play, when it's time to change clothes, when it's time to take a bath. All these things happen in a certain place, in a certain order, in a certain time. Because things are laid out in a certain way, Elijah knows that when we come to the table, it's time to eat. Elijah also knows where his iPad is. So recently, we got Elijah an iPad. That's an interesting thing, even talking about children on the autism spectrum and iPads, because there's some similarities that we have seen with Elijah that has been replicated with other children as well on the autism spectrum. And maybe I'll talk about that another time too. If you like what's going on right here, I don't know, hit the like button, man. Hit the like button. Please, yeah, hit the like button. Let me know you like what's going on, man. You like this content because I'm really making this information not only to, to share my experiences, to share, Elijah's experiences, which I'm actually thinking about having him on here more. I don't know. We are sharing our experiences, and we hope that by sharing our experiences, we're helping other people and also we get information from you guys as far as what you're going through and what you're dealing with, because it'll help me too. I'm a dad, I'm a parent out here. I'm just trying to figure it out like a lot of you are. So, the more that I share, the more you guys share with me. I don't know. I just want to make it better for all of us, right? Hit the like button and subscribe. I would definitely appreciate it. Back to structure. When we go to certain places, right, in the house, Elijah knows that we do certain things when we are there, right? So Elijah knows where his iPad is. We plug it up in the same place. He might be doing something that's completely different in the house, but when he wants his iPad, he knows that if I go to Dad's dresser, the plug is right there. The iPad's going to be right there. It's going to be fully charged and ready for him to go. He also knows that when, after I give him a certain amount of time to play with the iPad, all right, baby, time to take a bath. He knows that, all right, I give him that little bit of grace period, that time to wind down so we can go ahead and get in the bath and do our thing with bubbles and all that stuff. So for your child, just having everything in the same place, in this proper place, along with the routine, helps out tremendously, again, to alleviate that anxiety so that they know what's coming up, to make things a lot more comfortable for them. So actually, I would like to know, what are some things that you've done to kind of help your child and with being consistent and, and assisting them on their development? So if you have something that has helped your child tremendously when it comes to creating a routine and everything like that and consistency, drop a comment and let me know. So the third thing is transitions, right? Transitions, going from one activity to the other. So look, it's not always easy, to take your child, especially when they're interested in doing one thing, to have them understand that, all right, we're done with this activity now. We're done with this activity now. We need to go ahead and transition to something else. For instance, eating to bath time, right? Or when they're playing and they're doing something they want to do. All right, baby, we can't play right now. We have to get ready to go somewhere, right? We need to get in the car, so on and so forth. The biggest thing I can tell you is give time, give grace and patience to go from one activity to another. Because for some people, it may be easy to go from one activity to another. But in general, people that are on the autism spectrum, that can prove to be a little bit more difficult. So being patient and giving that preparation time, right? Giving that time to, to wind down, giving that time to wind down from one activity and go to the other is extremely, extremely helpful. So for instance, just like I said a little bit earlier, right, with Elijah, he'll be playing with his iPad, and he loves playing with his iPad, right? He loves looking at Disney Plus. He loves looking at Paramount Plus, different cartoons and everything on there. I just don't simply tell him, all right, time to put down the iPad, or take the iPad and put him in the bath. I tell him a few times, all right, baby, time to get in the bath. All right, baby, you ready for the bath? So, something like that. But I tell him those things to get him mentally prepared, like, okay, it's time to go ahead and put this iPad down, and it's going to be time to get in the bath. For Elijah's case, I'll give him like maybe, I don't know, anywhere between 1 minute to 5 minutes, because sometimes he's ready right there on the spot. Sometimes he's not. So I have to give him that time to adjust, but I'm letting him know, all right, baby, you ready? It's time for us to go ahead and get a bath, so on and so forth. That way he knows what's coming up. He knows that we need to start making that mental transition from playing on the iPad to get in the bath. So just making sure that you're giving that preparation, you're giving that time, and you're giving that grace to move from one activity to the other. So while consistency is definitely important, you have to remember the main thing that you want to do is always be flexible. All right. You need to be able to exercise flexibility when it comes to your child, and they're going through their routines and they're going through changes, because they're not going to always be ready to do things as you want them to do at the time that you want them done. That is a lesson that I had to learn as a dad, and not only as a dad, but also being prior military, spending 20 plus years in the military, is that everything happens at a certain place, certain time, all the time. It doesn't matter how you feel about it, what you think about it, or anything. And actually, be honest with you, this is a military thing, but it's just really an adult thing, right? We have to do things at a certain time, certain place all the time. And we try to teach those things to our children, and that's a good thing. You also need to teach that same thing to your child that may be on the autism spectrum, but you have to be able to be understanding and have flexibility when it comes to them, because again, they are not going to operate on the same way that your neurotypical child may act or operate. So you want to make sure that you're giving that grace and flexibility from going from one thing to the other, right? When you're trying to create that routine. And even as they develop, right? From 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, this is going to be a evolving thing that's always going to change. So your flexibility is going to have to always be intact, and it's always going to be in a place of being able to change, right? So being patient and being flexible will go a long way with assisting your child, because again, we don't want to blindside them, we don't want to shock them, we don't want to keep them in a place of being, overstimulated, anxiety and all that stuff. We want to keep everything nice and smooth to assist them to be able to develop and transition as they need to, right? Flexibility goes a long, long way. All right, and then the last thing I got for you guys is positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement. And I cannot tell you how much we are seeing the benefits of providing positive reinforcement with Elijah all the time. We have seen so much growth and so much advancement with Elijah by simply exercising our patience, being flexible. But when he does something, we make sure that we go all out and we celebrate those small victories. So for instance, one thing that Elijah has gotten so much better at now is in his understanding is that when he wants something to drink, right, or eat, and he gets done with it, he drinks up all his orange juice or whatever, he's learned to come to us. And we've been practicing a little bit of sign language, so we've been practicing, with more and using the sign for more. And we've been doing it for so long, and after a while I kind of got discouraged because I was like, man, we're doing this and he's just not getting it. But I was thankful not only for my wife's patience, but also for our speech therapist that has been going through this with him, because he makes sure that it's clear to me that all learning is not linear, right? There's ups and downs and everything when it comes to development with your child on the autism spectrum. But anyway, he has finally learned. He'll bring me his cup, he'll look at me dead in the eye, which is also great, right? And he'll look at me, he'll say more, and he'll do the sign for more. It's amazing. It warms my heart. Every time he does it, it warms my heart. But because it warms my heart so much, we celebrate it, right? When he says more, I'm like, yes, baby, more. That's right. Good job, baby. I hug him, I kiss him, I do all that. And we celebrate when he says more. We celebrate it every time because we want him to know, yes, that's what we want. We want more of that, right? We want to celebrate his learning. So we celebrate those things. Even when I was going through the morning motions of getting him dressed in the morning. At first, he kind of didn't understand. He had to put on a shirt around his head and then his arm and then his arm, right? He really didn't get all that. It wasn't a smooth transition. But when we got to the point where, I'll put his shirt over his head and then he put his arm up, I'm like, yes, baby, that's right. Good job. Yeah, we got to put on, put your shirt on, right? And then he'll put his other one on. By encouraging these things, it reinforces to him that I'm doing the right thing, right? That this physical communication is happening, right? These are the things that we want to have happen, and we celebrate those things. So positive reinforcement and positive reinforcement, it goes a long way, and it's a good feeling, right? It's a good feeling, but in a way, we kind of go extra, right? We go all out, right? We celebrate those things because we want him to know that we're on the right track, right? So positive reinforcement goes a long way. So yeah, pretty much, man, that's all I got. Those are the 5 main things that I have for you that assist in creating routine, consistency, right? By being flexible, right? Being loving with the positive reinforcement. All those things will help you so much in creating a great and easy environment for your child that's on the autism spectrum. And even though, it may be a difficult road at times, I will share with you from my personal experiences that if you just stick with it, you will see these things come. Again, the learning is not always linear, right? It doesn't go all the way, just go up, right? You're just going to go up, then it's go down, up, so on and so forth. But you have to be patient. You have to be flexible as a parent. And you have to be understanding that by you being there and being that positive reinforcement and that loving parent goes a long, long way. Trust me. So that's it. That's what I got. Those are my 5 big things that I have in helping your child develop and creating consistency in your child's life. Go ahead and drop me a comment. Let me know what you think. Please hit the like button. Let me know you like what's going on. And I definitely have more content coming at you really soon. Y'all take it easy. Be blessed. Peace.